Everybody, it's Kathy. Welcome to my kitchen. Happy Cinco de Mayo, which is a strange holiday because Americans seem to drink their way through it, and it has really not much to do with us. But I wanted to go ahead. It's a great time though to kind of highlight some Tex-Mex cuisine, talk about some margaritas, maybe drink some zero alcohol margaritas. So I talked a little bit on Wednesday on Chef AJ's show. So I did a demo of 2 different kinds of margaritas, but I thought we'd go a little more in depth today, talking about zero alcohol spirits, what they are. Hey Linda, it's awesome to see you guys. It is a beautiful sunny day. Everything is super lush here in North Carolina. You'll get to see a little bit, let's see, I have a new camera angle, and you can see my little herb garden on the kitchen stoop, which is kind of cool. And hey, Joanne and Stephanie and Kelly, it's awesome to see all you guys here. So some of you may have watched it on Chef AJ. So also, to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, go to Chef AJ's channel and check out my live from Wednesday where I make a nut-free mole sauce made really easily. It is not authentic. Neither am I as far as like Mexican cuisine goes. But I love taking these flavors, these beautiful, bold flavors from chiles, and even tequila has its own bold flavors. So first off, if you're just joining, know that we're going to be talking about zero alcohol spirits whenever I say tequila today. And what that means is that these products, and I've got 3 tequilas, and I thought I'd do a little tequila tasting. Zero alcohol free, we have Ritual, we have Liars, and we have, is it Jalisco? I may be mispronouncing that. So I have 3. Hey, Alyssa. And I think I said hello to Stephanie. Okay, it's awesome. And Kathy's here. Yay. Okay, so, I changed that angle for no good reason. And I swear this is zero alcohol tequila. So I want to talk a little bit about this. Also, the other thing we're going to talk about is this Air Disc Vitamix container, because it's not one you have to have, but it does a couple of things really, really well. One of the things is to make cold foam, and that's how they make cold foam at Starbucks. It also makes really nice citrus drinks or cocktail mixes, right? So we're going to make a margarita mix in it, and actually someone had put in a request for that on my YouTube video about how to make cold foam. So I thought that would be really nice, and then we can make a nice margarita mix. We can just kind of chill out. Hey Lily. Oh, Lily's here. Oh, yay. It is awesome to see you. I saw some gorgeous pictures of you. This is my friend's daughter, and I got to meet her in person in Tennessee when we went for the wedding. It was awesome. Oh, and Kelly says she gave up alcohol on December 17th, 2022. So let's talk a minute about these zero alcohol spirits. Oh, and Lily says, Abby says hi. Hi, Abby, and Melissa, and Phoebe, and all of the Langford family, who I adore. So there are a couple of people who would be wanting these zero spirit alcohols. There's this whole thing, and there's a terminology called sober curious. So what that means is people who aren't necessarily having some sort of drinking problem or issue, or who might go into AA, but just want to have a clearer head about them for whatever reason, but love different flavors, because you guys know I love a combination of flavors, and that's why I love cocktails. And since I'm having a liver issue myself, even though the alcohol doesn't seem to bother it, the reason I like it is for flavors. So if I can find some of these alternatives, I can still make all these syrups and bitters and all these really interesting things to make these beautiful beverages. So if you are in AA and you feel like this could trigger you to want to drink alcohol, I encourage you to skip this and let's make the margarita mix and let's put some sparkling water in there and let's say this is delicious, because it is, right? So just like if I make something maybe, and I'm going to use some agave nectar today, or if I use sugar or something that's not on your diet, I don't want you to use it. I will give you an alternative. Ask me in the questions, which is great, okay? And Alyssa says she's been alcohol-free since December 3rd, 2022, and that's awesome. So while these don't have the alcohol content that tequila does, most of them are made with some kind of agave. Most of the zero alcohol spirits do have sugar in it. So if you avoid sugar, but like let's say the Liars, which is, it has the cutest label. I love the artwork on these so much. And honestly, when they start selling t-shirts, I'm going to have the collection. You know that. So it has water, natural flavor, agave syrup, citric acid, salt, cellulose gum, which is to thicken it, and as a preservative, it has potassium sorbate. If you don't want that, that's okay. With these, so what's the difference than me just mixing these ingredients up at home? Well, they go through the distillation process, and that's what causes some of these really interesting flavors to happen. Oh, thank you for the happy belated. Oh, and Joanne says, I gave up alcohol in 2014, which is awesome. And I think, I think it is always good for us to be more present. When we talk to Rachel Detroit, she's like, how are you dulling your feelings? Alcohol is the way to do that. So I'm just going to pour just a little bit in here because I haven't done an actual taste test against all of these. This one is Ritual, and it has water, natural flavors, cane sugar, citric acid, xanthan gum, salt, sodium benzoate, and potassium sorbate. So again, we don't get to read the ingredients on liquor bottles either, like regular liquor. And how I like to do anything when I'm experimenting is to taste it. And actually, let me let you guys see this label. This one, I know you can get like at Total Wine where I am. Okay. And then this is the other one, and it came in my We're Raising the Bar box, which is a non-alcoholic box. I've unboxed one of those, and I've got a couple more I can unbox for you. So it has spiritless, non-alcoholic oak distillate, water, natural flavors, agave syrup, glycerin, sodium benzoate, sodium sorbitol, citric acid. So they're all going to be kind of the same thing. But if I bought 3 lavender syrups and I tasted them, I'm going to put just a little, be mindful. I know I like this one. I made some stuff with it. Jalisco. Thank you. It is Jalisco. And they even spelled it kind of out for me. Jalisco. Thank you, Stephanie. It's hard when you're a reader like I am, so I read things, and I don't know how to do it. So let's smell them. So it has a light, almost floral smell. Like I find that, and you know what? I didn't bring out, I do have some real tequila somewhere that I could bring out. Let's smell it against that. I'm coming back through the forest that is my dining room, and I'm pretty sure that I have maybe everything but tequila over here. I've got lots of rums. And what's funny is I have kind of a big bar, but I don't really use much of it. Yeah, I may not have any tequila. I really thought I did, though. Okay. Oh, there it is. I see it now. It's not open. Oh, here's one that's open. Okay. I'm just bringing both of them over. This and we can talk about this too because Liar's has two different kinds of tequila. I'm back. So this is a reposado, which means it's been aged. And so there's different ones. So this is the one that's been aged, I believe, and they have another one that's not. And so they have some different, sometimes they have different ones, sometimes they don't. So I'm going to put some of this, which is not aged, because that's going to have a significant different smell to it. And it's not a 1-for-1. But let's just see how close it gets. Okay, I really smell, okay, so what I like about tequila is that strong agave. And that's why I'm going to use agave nectar in my mix. I know some people are like, agave nectar is the devil. You could use date syrup if you want. It is going to change the flavor slightly, but it might just make it seem a little more aged. This one's a little more floral. Okay. This one's very floral, the Liar's. It smells super floral. Makes this one smell more agave forward. This is why we compare things. The Ritual smells a little more like regular tequila. But as I'm smelling everything, I kind of think this one smells most agave forward. And here's the thing. You pick what works for you. I love floral things. I love these labels. And it tastes slightly citric. It's very light. If I tasted this real tequila right now, it would burn. It would be very strong. This you could drink on ice and it would be lovely. There's no burn at all. You also can taste some of the complexities from distilling. So there's lots of layers. This to me tastes more like an alcohol. Like this tastes more like a nice syrupy drink. Maybe syrupy is wrong because it doesn't taste that sweet. Compared to regular tequila, it tastes sweet. This also has some smoky notes. Has a little bit of citrus on it, but you really can taste the agave. This one is more complex, and I think a little nicer, even if this label is better. Now, I know the Ritual, they put peppers in to replicate the alcohol burn. And you can feel them. It's spicy. So I feel like I just had something spicy. This would be great for like a mango margarita, or a jalapeno style margarita. And it is not as complex. This one is, the Jalisco is definitely the winner as far as I would like a sipping tequila. When we put this in with a mix of margarita mix, which is like lime and orange and all these different things, it's not as important. But I kind of wanted to just do a little more detail. There are some spirits out there that are not 0 alcohol spirits, but like 1 to 3%. So keep an eye out and make sure. It does not say which peppers are in there and if they used oil or not. Like they could have used, but it gives me a little bit of a jalapeno sort of feeling. So that's what I wonder if they use somehow. It's kind of a green chili taste to me. So I read the ingredients, so that's all I know. And so we are going to use this for our tequila. And I'm going to put these guys away for now. And then also, usually a margarita is tequila, triple sec, and some margarita mix. We're going to make a margarita mix, but I wanted us to look at this one as well. So this is an orange triple sec. And again, you got to see the label, super cute. Are these not the cutest? Okay. And so in this one, water, sugar, natural flavoring, citric acid, potassium sorbate, and azotic acid. It's kind of all the same things, right? Just like liquor, they're not giving us their recipe. And I'll take just a little taste of this. And it tastes like orangeade. So you don't have to have this. And what we're going to do is, like if you get a skinny margarita out in the wild, what you're getting is no triple sec, and you're getting agave nectar because that lowers the calorie count. The triple sec has more sugar because it's a liqueur, and that's where the calories go up. If you're counting calories or not, it doesn't matter. That's just why we do it. We're going to do it so that we can save some sugar and just move on. Let's see if I've got, okay, no more questions yet. So we're going to put that over here. Now this is a margarita mix that I got at Home Goods. Okay, and it's an alcohol-free cocktail mixer, as all are. It says add 1 part tequila, 1 part margarita mix. Stir, top with 2 parts soda water, which is weird for a margarita. But it has water, lime juice, cane sugar, orange juice, hibiscus flower extract, sweet orange extract, and key lime extract. So what we could do is we could just go ahead and make it with this. And that's one thing you can do. Most margarita mixes are vegan. Some are going to have sugars. The more expensive they are, I think I got this at Home Goods on sale for $4. I've seen margarita mixes as expensive as $19 for not much more than this. But if you just want to have a party and have things ready, that's okay. Yes, Kelly, you're so good. And I know there's an alarm, a fire truck coming down the road. And I know you can hear that. And yes, you can. And so that's when we're going to look at making our own. So and let's talk about, you don't have to have this. I want to show you how to make it in this, but we could also just squeeze our orange juice, our lemon juice, our lime juice, maybe zest some in there, blend it up, and strain it as well. What this does is this is not going to blend everything together, but as it kind of muddles everything together like a cocktail. So we're going to be using the skins on this, and we're going to slice the oranges. So you're going to see this. Okay, and we're going to use orange in ours so that we don't use triple sec. And I have some, I think it's Cara oranges, so we're just going to cut them in kind of uniform slices. And I'm going to go ahead and do 2. And here's the thing, that's why I'm saying this mix will be just as delicious as using triple sec, right? Because we're going to get all these great fragrant orange oils off of this peel. And I find it very nice. Do any of you guys have an Aer? And they suggest you just discard these. We're going to put some limes in the same way that you discard the ends. Then we're going to add some water, our sweetener, and some ice. Ooh, that one looks a little bit past its prime. It seemed like all the limes I tried to get this week, maybe it's because it's Cinco de Mayo, everybody's catching up on limes. I'm going to get a different knife. I think this time for this one to be sharpened. My kitty was right behind me, and he was like, whoa, what's going on? And Jess says, so excited for this, just recently cut alcohol out of my life. And I think it's a big thing right now, this whole sober curious. I think from COVID, a lot of us found different ways to maybe mask some of the uncomfortable feelings. And it's just nice to actually feel things, all the things. And honestly, like I said, if you're like me and what you're really looking for is just a delicious experience, it doesn't matter if there's alcohol in there or not. You're just wanting some wonderful concoction of flavors. And while we're going to use agave nectar, you could use monk fruit. You could use really anything you wanted. You can use dates. It's just, remember, each thing is going to slightly change what the end result flavors are going to be like. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just finding the proper way for you, okay? So we're going to put this in here. And we've got some ice, so we use some ice with it, and we're going to use some water. And so I'm just going to kind of put some of these in. Hopefully I haven't filled it too full, but I probably have. And if I have, we'll work with that. Get some water. And I'm going to blend it a little bit first. I'm going to put probably about a cup or half a cup of water, because once we start to blend, it's going to go ahead and pull out the juices as well. So this just sits on my regular Vitamix, and I'm going to see if this squishes down a little bit when I do this. I'm going to do it in 2 sets. It's just too full. And those of you who know me are not surprised. And then we're going to also put in some ice, because there's room for the ice now, and that helps move things around a little bit. Let me see if and Kelly says I don't have a Vitamix, I have a BlendTac. You can just make it using a different methodology. You could put it in a blender. I would probably not. I am thinking that the ice was supposed to go on the bottom, but I thought it went on the top. I'm having a discombobulated day. Have you guys ever had one of those? There we go. Okay. Now let's try a little bit more. This will be every day I've gone live and done a class, so I've like cleaned my kitchen so much. Okay. This should work a little better. It's been a while since I've done it. Yeah, there we go. Some more ice cubes too. Hi, Christina from Oregon. It is awesome to have you here. Ooh, I better put that top on before I start shaking things. And you can see how a lot of the citrus is coming out, the juice, We're getting also with this moving around, we're getting the oils on the peels as well. Last little bit of ice in here and see if that helps a little bit too. And you can make strawberry lemonade this way, but see how it's kind of taking the middle out? That's what we're looking for. We can also go ahead and taste it. It's definitely super lime forward. There's nothing in here but juices right now. And normally what we would do is put some kind of sweetener in this mix. This can also be just a sweet and sour mix. It's a good question, Joanne. Joanne's saying doesn't leaving the Python make it bitter, but we're not going to be using it. We're not actually blending up everything. We're actually muddling it together, getting those middles out so that they're juiced out, and then we're going to strain it. So you do get the oils from the actual peel and the zest, but we're not actually using any zest. Everything's getting caught down there. Let's strain it out in here for now. I think we may be able to do it just straining a little bit from here using the lid. And we can go ahead and whisk in our agave nectar here. I feel like there's still more juice we can gain out of this a little bit, but it's fairly beaten up. The fruit, and you can see it a little bit here. See how we've muddled it up and a lot of the middles are gone? Let me grab a bowl, and I also need to get some more ice. And we'll repeat this. It would be good to have put the ice in something other than the bowl I wanted to use. Y'all, it's a day. So I'm going to go ahead and put what's in here right now here. There's a couple of pieces stuck underneath. So I'm going to grab those. Okay, this time we're going to put the ice in. We'll put our fruit in. You can't see that very well, sorry about that. We'll put a little bit of water in. And if you want to make a strawberry lemonade, I think it's about 6 or 8 strawberries and 2 lemons, something like that. Oh, Jess likes the new camera view. Oh, yeah, you can see Fergus over there. He's like, the sunbeam was a little bit too rough. I want to go over there. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's, so the house is like, what do they call it? A split level. And so up here is actually the second floor for most of the house. So the deck is in the back and stuff. So it's very interesting. Okay, so we'll do it again here. regular one, and this is kind of how I made the frozen margarita on Chef AJ's. There's some things getting stuck over here. I took the insides out of the oranges and the lemons and blended them together. And you could do that. This is just the way you can use it for cocktails. That's all. So you're not really juicing it. Let's see what else we've got besides cat. Yeah. So then what we can do, and I can do that a little bit more, is I would just add some agave nectar to this mixture and whisk it up. If you were doing this in a regular blender, you could, where's my whisk? You could just add in the sweetener. Yeah, the air is like a giant muddler, but also what it does is it puts in air so it makes a really good cold foam. And I don't use it with cocktails so much. I don't know why this one is giving me so much trouble. I tried it both ways, and I feel like either I'm not putting enough water in here or something's getting caught. So I'll try a little more water. But the thing is instead of just getting the juice, you are getting water, but then you're getting those flavors from the rinds. And before the pandemic, I would make like a sweet and sour mix for us to take camping all the time. Look at that orange. As close as I'm getting right now. So, and it can do whipped cream. It can make like a aquafaba foam, and we can do that. It doesn't really make an aquafaba whipped cream. Okay. So I'm going to whisk it up again, see if it's sweet enough, and then we'll make our margarita. And then perhaps I should make myself some lunch, even though this is a non-alcoholic margarita. It's perfect. So by perfect, it's lime heavy, just sweet enough so that lime doesn't make you pucker, but you feel it a little bit in the back of your mouth. These oranges are adding enough sweetener that I probably put 2 tablespoons of agave nectar. Obviously, you should taste it and do what you think is best for you, too. But let's go ahead and let's build us a margarita. So what I would do, I use Paul as my muddler. Exactly. And if I was just making one margarita, like when I use this, I usually make 4 to 8 cups, and maybe I'll share some with friends. So like if you bought a Costco bag of limes, lemons, oranges, and you're about to be out of time to eat them, making something like this, and then you can freeze it in ice cube trays, making lemonade, limeade. It's really no different than that, except we're going to add in some zero alcohol tequila for us. So I usually put mostly mix. You can put a little bit of water. If it's a store-bought mix, you may need to add water to that. I don't think we're going to. Then I'm going to add, did I leave my shot glass? You can put anywhere between 1 to 2 ounces. And this one, I think I'm gonna, what does this say? This is 1.5 ounces. And actually, I have a little bit of the tequila left over from the taste test. I'm gonna put that in. We'll stir that up. You could also make a batch of them. Sandra says, I just want to be your neighbor and call it a day. I would love that. Are you good with washing dishes? Because I will cook for you all day. So I'm just going to mix it up. You could be fancy and shake it up, but you don't have to. This Jalisco with this homemade mix is perfect. So I'm getting kind of that, there's kind of this in-between, almost molasses, agave nectar, agave kind of flavor in there, and smoky. That's really good. So I'm going to get some ice. Let me get a big scoop of ice in here. And if you notice, a lot of times my homemade mixes end up looking more orange than margarita. It lends its way that way a little bit, and that's because of the oranges. And with the Cara oranges in particular, they are a little bit more red or pink on the inside. And see, it's a delicious blend of flavors, so I don't feel the need to have a tequila bite. And I'm super happy not to have a tequila hangover. And let me see, where did I put my knife? I thought it was still over here. Nope. We can put a little lime in there. We can put one of my short straws to make it extra festive. We could have lined the rim with something. So see, we can do a little something like that, just to make it look a little bit cuter. But basically, if I didn't have this alone is pretty good. I might dilute it with about 1.5 ounces of water, sparkling water, and you'll see that on lots of mixers because they're a little concentrated. Oh, let's see. Okay, here we go. Sandra was saying, I want to be your neighbor and call it a day. And Joanne, if you live near me, we would definitely be having cocktails and mocktails all over 4 p.m. I'm about it. I have pretty glasses we can use too. And so it says, oh my God, you make me want to make this now. And it's not hard. You could just juice some limes, juice a couple of oranges, and someone's saying, can you use blood oranges? Yes, there's blood orange margaritas, there's mango margaritas, strawberry margaritas. This one had lime, orange, and hibiscus in it. So once you start doing it, could you use a juice mix that you have? Could you, like if a sour mix is nothing more than sweetened lemons, really, when you get right down to it. So a cocktail needs to have some citrus, some acid, something sweet, and whatever other flavors you want. So we could make this into a daiquiri by just using limes, and you could use any sweetener that you wanted, and add some faux rum, or like faux being zero spirit, or you could just call it a day and make yourself a frozen lime smoothie / daiquiri. I would, I'm trying to think, you could use some rum extract, baking extract, something like that. You could also then go, if we had mint, we could make mint mojitos with that. And you don't have to have the fancy thing. Before the summer's over, we'll make cold foam again. And it works best with either a barista blend, though it should work really well with homemade soy milk, possibly almond milk. And we'll make the aquafaba fluff that I haven't made. So it doesn't make whipped cream the same way the Air disc will with dairy, but we can use something pretty similar. Oh, it's Anvita! Yay! You guys, you should, and Vita, go ahead and put in your link, because she has a great Indian recipes, and she lives near me. But that's really about it. And the reason I made it the fancy hard way is someone had asked me, and obviously I don't remember because I haven't used it in a long time, but I thought it would be fun. But you can, if you don't drink alcohol, yay you. For whatever reason, if it's religious reasons, if it's an addiction reason, if it's just that you want to have a clearer head. Or maybe you drink sometimes and sometimes you don't want to drink. Like, I can't have a margarita with real tequila at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm 58 years old. I couldn't even when I was in my 20s, I'd have to go take a nap. So this also means I can have this beautiful taco lunch with margaritas. So whatever reason, I'll be talking a little more about some of the zero alcohols I've been getting and opening up some more boxes. There are also zero alcohol bitters for those of you who possibly do struggle with addiction, or just for whatever reason. Maybe you also have a liver issue and you can no longer imbibe, and that works just as well. But we'll make some simple ones without machinery. Going back to, let me see if I remember, Kelly, who has a blend tech, or if you have a Ninja, if you went ahead and put these slices into a regular blender and blended it up, it would be a little more bitter. Is that a bad thing? And your mind may be going, she's lost it. We put bitters in things because sometimes those bitter things are good. And when I made some lime powder, I did use the pith and everything because I wanted to experiment with having those bitter flavors added at my whim. So you could make a mix and blend it all together and taste it. You might have to add more sweetener. You'll have to decide, did that lime bitterness add the layer of complexity I wanted, or was it just kind of nasty? I tend to avoid it. This is different because it doesn't chew it up. It never gets to that pithy part. It just takes the middle out, and because it kind of bumps it around like bumper cars, it gets some of those oils out, and I hope that makes sense. Joanne says, I love bitters. Yeah, bitters are amazing, and one of the things I've loved, we're raising the bar box. I don't have an affiliate link with it, I don't think yet. But I saw another question. I lost my train of thought. But it's probably about $50 a month, and you get like 4 cocktails for 2 people, small cocktails of different things. So they usually have 4 cocktail recipes. And I got this little bottle, so sometimes they'll send you zero alcohol spirits, sometimes they send you syrups, sometimes they send you bitters, sometimes a combination. The only thing non-vegan that I've gotten in there was some honey straws. So in general, like whenever they have a recipe that calls for egg white, they give you an aquafaba alternative. So it's been very vegan friendly. And Joanne said, I never knew there were so many different bitters. Oh, there's hundreds. There's this beautiful store called Cultivating Cocktails in Asheville. And they'll make you a mocktail as well. They also are a distiller. So they do make alcohol. But there were probably 50 different bitters. And we'll talk bitters one day because we can do a bitters test. And Vita is saying, do I keep the rind if I'm adding the slices to her Ninja? I think they're kind of spent. Do I add the rind? Do I keep the rind on if I'm adding it to my Ninja? My first choice would be no. If you want to test it out, it is going to add some of the bitterness from the pit. It would add some of the zest. One thing you could do, let's see if we can, how easy this is to do with what I have right now. Like for here, let's say we're looking at pith, right? So pith is this white stuff. So if I could cut it off like you were making orange rind candy, and I just get to where I get to that orange stuff, you could put the rind in, but the more you want to get pretty much all of this white stuff off. And if I wanted to make an infusion, either for an extract, like an orange extract, I'd want to take all this off too. And you'll want a fairly sharp knife. And so at this point, you're going to have the delicious oils come out. And so like this is also something that we could cut into strips and kind of spritz at our cocktail. So when we do this, you can see some oils actually coming out, and you can rub them around the glass where you're going to be drinking and pop it in for some extra. So that's one thing you could do. I would just put the orange fruit pieces and the lime fruit pieces in, and then maybe do something with, because it's going to be a pain to cut all that stuff out. Honestly, the reason I leave it is because I can in the air. Oh, Joanne loves bitters and chowders and soups, and that would be really good too. So lots of times, and part of me went, okay, I'm going to run and grab one bitter and see if I can find one that has some ingredients, because on it, as far as labeled, these aren't all the bitters I have, but these are some fun ones. Do I have another one over here? I have more than this, but this will give us a, and I think is it El Guapo? El Guapo, or these bitters, I think have no alcohol as well. They're in glycerin. These came, can you guys see that? There we go, Holiday Pie. And these taste so awesome. So in this one, it's water, glycerin, sweet potato, apple, pumpkin, pecan, spices. And so when I smell it, it does smell like pumpkin pie a little bit, but it's also a little bit more. So this is kind of like a fancy new kind of bitter. So I have two crude bitters. This is one of the ones I got in the store. I think this is in, yeah, this has alcohol. So it would have alcohol in the ingredients. So does most extracts, like vanilla extract is in alcohol, but you can get it in glycerin or other non-alcoholic forms. This is alcohol, hibiscus, lavender petals, American oak, clove, water, and spices. And when you smell it, it smells kind of like magic. It doesn't smell like what this recipe would look like. It smells just like this one new flavor. Then I have these tiki bitters, which are toasted coconut, pineapple, and allspice, because I love tiki drinks. And this has pineapple, coconut, allspice, cassia, banana, water, and spices. A lot of times they will have very bitter herbs in them and stuff, so we'll have a whole conversation about those, I think. Let's see if there's any more questions. Oh, Joanna's saying use a vegetable peeler. And it's true, like let's say, actually, this one's still kind of intact. Let's see if I can do it on a slice. I don't know if this will work so well, but this is how I would do it if I wanted to get some for the drink. If the orange was whole, yeah. So you probably could get some of it off of there. If it was on a fruit that's like whole and not half off, it would be easier to do. So that's another way. I don't know why that's being so pesky, this one. But anyhow, what is it, pesky pescadola or whatever the Harry Potter one spell is. I need that spell right now. Do you guys have any questions? And to me, this Jalisco 55 distilled non-alcoholic spirit for tequila drinkers is exactly what the name is. We looked at the Liars, And I do think the Liars tend to be more floral, lighter. I used it in the making of the non-alcoholic vegan Baileys for St. Patrick's Day. We used the whiskey and the bourbon, both, I think. And then I find that Ritual is available more places. And here's another thing. Right now at some of the Home Goods, Marshalls, and TJ Maxx, you can get sometimes some of the Ritual, the Liars, and some other non-alcoholic spirits cheaper. But if you have a Total Wine, that's another place. If you're in a bigger city, you might be able to find a place that just specializes in it. I haven't gone any of those places yet. If you find one, please tell me, because I would love to go. Ooh, I like that. Joanne's saying a bitters video live could be really interesting. And my friend Rob got a book on how to make your own bitters. And so I'm very curious about making my own bitters, because it's kind of like a mysterious concoction that you add to food, much like a mixer or spice blends or other things that I love. But I want to thank you guys so much for joining me this afternoon and just kind of popping in, taking time out of your day. Enjoy your Cinco de Mayo however you enjoy it. And if you've been sober curious, maybe check out some of these things. I'm always good for giving you an excuse to go to Home Goods and Marshalls also. And I got some of these products. I'm getting ready to do a video. Aunt Fanny's are some of the products that that Dr. Stephanie Peacock recommended, and I got them on sale. So like $3 for some of these, and we'll talk about that too. Let's see. Oh, of course, it's always a pleasure to get to hang out with you guys. You're the best part of my day, and I just want to give you big hugs. I think I didn't put it in this video, but there is a $10 Tex-Mex class, so I'm going to come back and put that link on the YouTube video after this. So if you want to come watch a pre-recorded Tex-Mex class, make some tacos, fajitas tonight, enjoy yourself, join on in. That's $25 off the normal price, and that way you can come hang out with me even more. Oh, yay! Angela is here. It is always a pleasure to have you here. And thank you for joining. And you guys have just the most amazing, magical day and weekend, and really take some time just for yourself to enjoy everything changing towards spring. And hopefully it's a beautiful weekend. Talk to you guys real soon.